This was sent to me on Instagram, and let me just tell you right now, I don't know who's worse when it comes to the support of 45, despite the things he has said about them. Palm-colored women when he told them grab him by the pussy, or the Latinos that he wants so badly to be kicked out of the establishment, especially if they are legal. But, of course, he's also accused them of being very dangerous and violent and other things like that. Now, the reason why I have this picture up here is because this article that was sent to me from Newsweek is saying that almost half of Latino voters approve of 45's virus response. It reads about 45%, ironically 45%, of Latinos approve of the way 45 is handling the virus pandemic, a new poll showed. This poll also found that 47% say Trump is providing clear and helpful information. At the same time, it also found that 85% of Latinos said they trust their local officials to help them understand how to protect themselves during the crisis. It's funny because a lot of local officials are giving them a lot of handouts since they're illegal, since they won't be able to get a stimulus. Yet when asked to agree with one of two statements assigning blame, 69% agreed that 45 ignored the warning signs of the virus hurting thousands of Americans due to his delays and incomplete response, while 31% said there was nothing he could have done to prevent the outbreak and he should not be blamed. He knew early on, but he decided to downplay it heavily and call it a hoax. If we could jump in a time machine and go back to November when he first learned about this and he was actually doing what he should have done, who knows where we would be at right now? Probably not in this extreme position we are in. Not saying that we would not be in this position now because this is a global thing. It's touched everywhere. But I don't think we would be in this big of a predicament as we are right now. The poll, conducted April 12th by polling firm Latino Decisions and commissioned by Somos Community Health Care founder Henry Munoz, the former finance chairman for the Democratic Party, surveyed 1,200 voters. 1,200 like the stimulus? Despite the confidence in the president's virus communication, the poll also found that 59% of Latinos said they would likely vote for former Vice President Joe Biden in November, compared with 22% who said they would vote for 45. Now, mind you, if y'all look back at those exit polls, Latinos came in third as far as the voting for 45 in 2016. It was palm-colored men, followed closely by palm-colored women, and Hispanics and Latinos. They came at like 30%. Then it was blacks at like 12 or 13%, and Asians was below 10%. Steve Cortez, a spokesman for America First PAC, which supports the president, told Newsweek that Latino approval numbers have surprised skeptics for years, particularly on the economy. A large part of the virus story is the needed economy recovery, and I'm confident Hispanic citizens continue to view 45 as an effective leader for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Donald Trump is doing very well among Latino voters, and that has Democrats very worried, Trump campaign spokesperson Ali Pardo told Newsweek. The mixed numbers do have Democrats worried. You know why? And you want to know what? This is good for the Democrats, because you know what? They have literally kissed our ass so much that we finally figured out their little trick, that they stopped kissing our ass and then they started kissing the Latinos' ass and doing all this extra stuff for them, like giving them set-asides, if they're illegal immigrants and all types of stuff like that. Now for them to turn on them and say that they approve of what 45 is doing, that would be their karma. Like I said, for me, there are no winners in this situation, just losers. Well, I'll take that back. It's going to be somebody that's going to come out on top out of all of this. The poll illustrates a fear Democrats share publicly and privately that try as they might, they let me read that again. The poll illustrates a fear Democrats share publicly and privately that try as they might. Who wrote that? They wrote this all wrong. Anyway, they can't get the Latino voters to shun the president and his message, perhaps because he is able to broadcast his message through ample cable news coverage, pollsters said. Democrats need more of that, said Latino Decisions founder and pollster Matt Barreto of Appointment Television Briefings, which only Trump and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo have done consistently. Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden could do daily press conferences on what they are doing and how they are standing up for Latinos, which has been hard to come by. Like I said, that would be the funniest part about the whole thing if the Democratic Party ended up losing the Latino vote, because that's whose ass they've been kissing a lot lately. The Democratic National Committee, or the DNC, told Newsweek they understand the advantage the president has on cable news, but said a priority is putting surrogates on local media television and radio broadcasts in battleground states to message to communities of color, which have been disproportionately affected by the virus. Okay. We know that they're talking about black people when they say of color. Y'all know how I feel about that people of color terminology. I hate it. It's crazy that they said this is disproportionately affecting communities of color, when just a couple weeks ago all you saw was it's disproportionately affecting black people. So now, based on their terminology, are you saying that it's affecting everybody who is quote unquote non-white, or are you just still using that communities of color thing to codify for black? This is another reason why the Democrats are getting their asses handed to them right now. The tone deafness of it all. Trying to define Trump and his failures and how it impacts them is a critical connection as we move forward, said DNC spokesperson Xochitl Hinojosa. I probably mispronounced their name. Adiso Demisi, former campaign manager for Senator Cory Booker and California Governor Gavin Newsom, said the poll isn't as troubling for Democrats as it seems, arguing that Biden is in a tough spot because if he's not careful, he might say something that a governor on the East Coast like Cuomo doesn't agree with. But that lines up with what Newsom is pushing. For example, Trump is always going to win MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News, but he's not necessarily going to win your local TV evening news or radio station. He told Newsweek, recalling Biden saying on a local Pittsburgh television station that last week he would take Michelle Obama as his vice presidential pick in a heartbeat. You know who didn't see that? Demisi said a bunch of people watching CNN. You know who did? People in Pennsylvania. California Representative Tony Cardenas told Newsweek that the poll demonstrates Latinos' faith in their community leaders. I think the poll accurately points out that local leaders are doing a better job than the president of following the science, listening to medical advisors, and doing work on the ground, he said. We as Democrats are fighting tooth and nail for the small employer, people who are laid off and get a $1,200 check. I dare any Republican or Donald Trump to say they were fighting for those $1,200 checks to go out. But if Democrats want credit for fighting for the community and providing solutions to the crisis, Hector Sanchez Barba, head of Latino advocacy organization Mi Familia Vota, said they must do a better job spreading that message widely in the media to make the community aware of what he called Trump's shocking pandemic response. It is imperative that Democrats, Vice President Biden, and congressional leadership highlight these failures and provide Latino solutions, he said. And something tells me they will bend over backwards and break a tooth and a nail to do that. Now, when we was asking them about tangibles and reparations, they had to tap dance around that. But when it comes to Latinos, then they just do it, and most of them that they're doing for aren't even from here. What does that tell you? That should be some sort of treason, in my honest opinion, for you to give set-asides that are meant for somebody else to not only another group, but a certain amount of that group who aren't even from here. And you know that. I've done countless videos talking about how these politicians have been making set-asides in the midst of this pandemic for those who aren't even legally here. 2/3 of Latinos have either lost their jobs or are facing economic hardship. Welcome to the club. Democrats need to be sharing their plans to help this community in English and Spanish online and in television. Like I said, if the Democrats lose this election, and I want to see the exit poll numbers this year too, they would have kissed their ass for nothing. That means they would have lost their biggest support group, which is the black voters for the most part. Well, the jury is still out on that one. And they would have lost their secondary base, which is the Latinos. Which means they really wouldn't have anybody left. Now, this is not me supporting either side, because I don't support either one. But I got to call bullshit out when bullshit is presented. And what they have presented, the Democrats, is a platter filled with fuckery, as they have been for years. Now, as for these Latinos for Trump, that's on them. That's all on them. It's funny that many people can put on this happy face in the midst of a pandemic that they know that 45 could have been quicker with the response, but decided to be lackadaisical on and say that it was a hoax. But what a way to bring politics into a pandemic, which they always find a way to do. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.